Hello, distinguished friends and colleagues. This is Stuart Hamilton, the Pro-Life Activities Coordinator for the Archdiocese of Louisville, Kentucky, serving under Deacon Stephen Bowling. And this is 5 Minutes for Life, where we take 5 minutes to discuss one topic, one event, or one ministry that affects the pro-life movement here in the Archdiocese of Louisville. In this episode, I'd like to talk a little bit about a project I'm developing to call attention to foster care. Now, I don't know whether you're aware of this, but currently Kentucky is in the midst of a foster care crisis. We are 60% over the national average for children in need of loving homes via foster care. There are many reasons for it, but it kind of goes back pre-pandemic. Even then, as reporting was getting better and better, we were in the midst of an opioid crisis, which was causing many broken homes. We kept seeing the number of children in need of foster care going up and up and up. Then, of course, the COVID pandemic shut everything down, and it took a couple of years for the foster care system to get back up on its feet. Well, during the interim, many of the families that had been fostering, it just sort of fell out. And so right in the moment where we have a backlog and an increased number of children in need, we had far, far fewer families to accommodate that need. And so currently we are in a crisis. There are 8,000 children in Kentucky who are in need of families that are willing to open the doors of their home and share their family with children who have none. Now, I have always maintained that if we're going to create a Kentucky in which every human life is valued, either preborn or born, then all of these needs need to be met by the church in one way or the other. So how can we meet the needs of these children? Well, one thing that I've been doing is I've been working with Julie Barkley from Operation Open Arms, as well as Valerie Bucola with Kentucky Kids Belong. These are two agencies that work with foster care. And what we're doing is we're hoping to go parish by parish and create a program by which we talk to parishioners about the realities of foster care, and we can reach the families that are called but maybe have a lot of questions about foster care. So we've done one of these evenings so far at St. Margaret Mary Parish, and it went very well. I learned a lot. For example, I learned that there are 3 types of foster care agencies in Kentucky. There are non-state agencies, there are state agencies, and then there are state contracted agencies. All of these have different ways of doing things, different limitations, and also different programs to help fostering families in the work that they do. I also learned that there's not one way to help with the foster care crisis. Of course, there are people out there who want to permanently adopt, and they foster to adopt, meaning they're taking kids into their home with the idea that they may be a good fit for their family permanently. Then we have people who foster with no real eye towards adoption, and you can either choose short-term situations where the children are expected to shortly be reunified with the families, or more long-term foster care situations where you're opening your family to a child that's going to be there somewhat indefinitely. And lastly, if you're not called to foster, there are other ways to help. There are mentoring programs, respite programs, where you can take children for an afternoon or for a weekend to help out, to ease the burden of these children who have no homes of their own. And then, of course, whether you know it or not, when people are called to foster care, oftentimes children come with very little or nothing. And so donations are always a big deal with all 3 of these types of agencies to help children have a good starting point when they are fostered by a loving family. Now, you may be hearing this video and you're like, well, how can I help? Well, first of all, are you called to host one of these evenings? Could you invite me or Valerie and Julie into your parish, and so that we can advertise and connect with the people who are probably called to help in one way or the other with foster care? Or are you yourself called to foster, and maybe something I've said here has struck a chord in your heart? Then email me, reach out to me, and we will set up an appointment and we'll get one of those evenings put together. That's all my time for today, but I want to say that I'm on my summer schedule. That means I'm going to be making more of these recordings. My goal is to record once a week, and next week I'll be handling the difficult topic of the war in Gaza and Israel, particularly how it's affecting Christians in Gaza. We'll be dealing with that next week, and if that sounds like something you're interested in, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know when my new recordings are out. God bless you. Remember, every human life is worth fighting for because every human life has dignity in the eyes of God. We'll see you here next week.